Welcome into the newest episode of the YHH Junior Hockey Pod. I believe that's the name we are sticking with now. I'm Sydney Wolf, joined as usual by Peter Odney and Drew Steele. If you listened to the episode last week, we were just getting more and more fun, more and more weird every week. It's a great time. We are now in November. You guys, we're recording this on the opening day of the boys' high school hockey games. So it's an exciting time of year. I'm feeling good. Peter and Drew. Peter, let's start with you. How are you doing today? Did you have anything crazy this weekend? I know it was the Blue Ox weekend, so busy week for a lot of YHH people.
It was a busy week, and the biggest news was the confirmation that Joey Cullen was coming back to Moorhead. So Moorhead is all abuzz with Spud fever all over again. Tyden Bergeson, sorry, Drew, is officially back. Saw him at the rink. Same with, I don't know if Zach Zimmerman ever came over, but the Cullen Hockey Center is a gathering place for everybody. And half these kids go to online school. So they just do their online stuff in the morning, and then they come to the rink in the afternoon. So a bunch of high schoolers are walking. Hold on, high schoolers.
Wow.
High schoolers just kind
Oh
of,
yeah, the
you
like
got to tilt
high
it
backwards hat.
up a little bit. They're just wandering around the rink in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
The Blue Ox was sick. It was really cool to see all the scouts there. I think it lends a lot of legitimacy to the event, the NTDP being there. Some USHL guys, a couple of D1 schools, neutral zone, a bunch of dub guys. That was really cool to see. It was a long weekend, a very rewarding weekend. Long, but rewarding. That would be my best way to describe it.
Yeah, Drew, how's it going in Caps land over there?
It's going well. 6-game point streak running into this weekend with the U17s in Michigan. But yeah, no, things are going good. We had a stretch that ended on Saturday of 13 days straight at the rink. So nice to have Sunday off, and then the team's on the road this weekend. And with it being USA Hockey TV, I won't go with this weekend. So nice to kind of not have the weekend off because I'll still be here, kicked up, dialed in on some Caps hockey. But just nice to kind of be at home for a weekend, chill with the dog and the wife, and reload for a turkey-filled week next week.
Yeah, there's so much hockey, I feel like, of all kinds over the Thanksgiving week, like next weekend, there's so much. I feel like I'm having some family over, my in-laws over on Friday, and I feel like I'm gonna have hockey in the background the whole day, whether they like it or not. We're just gonna have all the high school, college, juniors. We're gonna have some type of game playing in the basement and upstairs probably the entire day, you know. But
Damn, dude.
you know, it's hockey season. It's fun. Got to watch all the good games. But this is once again the YHH Junior Pod. Thanks to our sponsors, the USHL and APX. I'll talk about APX a little later. But big thanks to the USHL for sponsoring this show. Obviously, we love the USHL. We have so many Minnesota athletes playing in the USHL right now, and we're going to talk about quite a few of them today on the show as well that have been just doing really well, developing really well, are on some awesome trajectories. So again, big thanks to the USHL. But to start us off with some junior hockey news here, specifically with the USHL, you guys, it was just a huge week for Zach Wooten, who I'm sure people remember from Eastview. He flipped his commitment, which is really funny. I don't know if you guys were on Twitter that much this weekend, but I saw that all of a sudden, I think it was Friday night or Saturday, I tweeted like, oh, there's no main logo there, question mark, question mark. And literally, I think within 24 hours, it was Wisconsin. So it happened very quickly because sometimes it takes a while, very quickly. So that was big for him too. Not saying that Maine's, not as big of a school. They have great hockey history too, but Wisconsin, that's obviously a big one closer to home. And he just had a huge week, USHL Forward of the Week. He had 5 goals for Green Bay this weekend, and he's currently their leading goal scorer. So you guys, Zach Wooten, killing it these last few days here.
Yeah, Zach's
Can we get a
good.
woot for Zach Wooten?
Woot woot.
Woot woot.
A woot for Zach Wooten.
Yeah, Zach's been good though this year. It's nice to see those players take a step from. It's not his first full season in the USHL, but it's nice to see a step from last year to this year, both with the Gamblers, and obviously we get the Gamblers a lot here in Madison. We had them 9 times last year. We have them 8 times this year. So it's nice to see those sort of players take that next step forward. I think the Gamblers' prototypical player is dump the puck in deep and go battle for it right now. And I don't think Zach fits that mold. And I think that's a good thing for Green Bay, if I'm being honest with you. And I think that Zach's been a really key piece to that team. He's on the power play to get the puck up ice. They're using Zach's wheels to get into the offensive zone. And I think that shows a lot of trust from McCadden and company in Green Bay. So good for him getting to flip the logos. I know there's a couple of Wisconsin logos on that line chart already. A couple of Big Ten logos too with the Minnesota kids and Katz and Phillips going, and Convoy too. So they have 3 Minnesotas, a pair of Wisconsins. It's a good looking line chart, NCAA logo wise.
Yeah, I mean, Zach's just been killing it. And like you said, Drew, it's really cool to see kind of his progression and development over the past year, because he had a decent season last year, but not really any eye-popping stats, really. Like, obviously, anyone who sticks with the USHL team the full season, like for your first year, that's impressive, just making that roster. But he's really starting to pop. I don't think he has the most points on Green Bay right now, maybe like 2 shy, but he has the most goals. So that's pretty wild. And I feel like, too, Wisconsin, I feel like, I'm sure they see plenty of the Caps players because they're right by you guys, but any of those junior teams in Wisconsin, I'm sure they get to watch a lot of those guys and be like, I think we might want to pick this guy up. So they probably had a first pick of him maybe, or just eyes on him a lot.
Mike Hastings is one of the most frequent visitors of Bob Suter's Legacy 20 Arena. I can confirm that just whenever they're not playing and we are, he's there. It's probably just ease of not having to travel as far. There's 3 Wisconsin commits on the Caps too. But playing Green Bay as many times as we do, last year at the end of the year too, we had Green Bay 3 games in a row in April. Wisconsin wasn't playing in April last year. So they were there, got to see him, saw him in preseason too. So it is crazy how much they're kind of investing in recruiting those Wisconsin junior teams. Because I know the Caps have 5 players on Wisconsin that played for the Caps at one point, and it seems like they're doing the same with Green Bay. Cody Sokol committed there, as well as Wooten now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
One of the crazy things, sorry, I'm looking at Zach's
good.
elite prospects right now, and he's played for 3 USHL teams. He's got games with Tri-City, Omaha, and Green Bay. And he's got 11 goals in 19 games right now for Green Bay. And the most goals he ever scored in high school, and this was in 27 games, was 18 goals. So that goal scoring ability is just apparently built on itself, and he's turning into a real sniper.
Yeah, for sure. He's been doing really good. And also some of the other USHL players of the week. I feel like we've had a lot of Minnesotans over the past few weeks in the weekly honors here. Another Minnesotan would be defender Hawk Huff of Cedar Rapids is the defenseman of the week, which is cool. Of course, committed to St. Cloud State, so I was excited to see that. But he's a guy, too, who, had a good year last year, but I feel like he's really been starting to pick it up and kind of pop off this year. So it's kind of similar to Wooten in that way. And it sounds like he just had a really good weekend. He had a game-winning goal in one of the games, and he's just been really picking it up with points-wise. And then the goalie of the week is a Latvian guy. Actually interesting, he played in the Q last year and now is in the USHL. Leonards Feldbergs, if I say that correctly. I don't know, but he had a nice weekend. Yeah. So that's cool to see, and I feel like it's becoming more and more common, you guys, to see guys who are going major junior to USHL or vice versa. There's a lot more kind of guys going back and forth here.
Yeah, there's spots being taken on both sides, right? Every kid that thinks there's an opportunity in the better path of development they think is in the CHL, that means one more roster spot's taken up there, and still a great league to develop down here in the States. So it's cool to see like the difference, just going Q to USHL, USHL to BC Dub, wherever they're going. I always just kind of like the transactions. Like I know that it moves the needle. Ooh, I talk for a living. Moves the needle and gets things going. So I always like to see movement, especially when it's positive for my team. But this one really doesn't have too much of an effect. But I'm always a big fan of moving just because it creates storylines.
It does create storylines, and movement is obviously good for us because it gives us something a little extra to talk about. none of these players will probably listen to this, and they won't take my advice. I'm not an advisor. I'm not an agent. I'm not a coach. But let's put it this way. I started playing golf a couple of months ago, and my brother-in-law gave me a driver, and I'm bad at golf. So now I'm looking at other drivers, and I'm thinking, if I get this Titleist GT, I might be bombing it down the fairway. I hope that some of these kids aren't simply looking at a different situation and thinking, oh, if I change teams, then all of a sudden the points will start coming and I'll start getting looks. And changing teams is not going to make you faster or shoot the puck harder or see the ice better. So you hope that the player movement is in the best interest of the player's personal growth and development. You hope that they're not simply running away from a situation that they think is holding them back.
I just hope Feldberg sees this segment and goes, God, how bad is Peter's golf game that I'm being compared to him?
I shot a 125. Let's put it that way.
It's like bowling, right? You're trying to get to 300.
I'm trying to crack 100, dude. Trying to crack triple digits.
Wow. Yeah, we got some crazy segments going on here. It gets wilder every week, and we got some good stuff coming up in the show as well. One thing that I wanted to shout out, we've talked a lot about Gunnar Conboy in the past, so don't need to dwell on this too much, but he did score his first official USHL goal, so that was good to see. Obviously coming back from injury 2 weeks ago now. He's got 4 games played, and he's got a goal now, so notched that.
Did he have the right jersey on this time?
I would assume so. I would hope so. Another Minnesotan who had a really big weekend is Riley Zupfer, who is going to be staying in Des Moines, last that I heard. He had a really big weekend, though, for somebody who's, not even 18. I think he's turning 18 like in a month because he'd be a high school senior. But he's been doing really good. I want to say it was Friday. He had a goal and 3 assists, was first star of the night for Des Moines. So that's cool to see. In his last 3 games, he's actually got 5 points. So he's been kind of popping off recently. And he had a good year last year at Hill Murray. So kind of nice to see him starting to take off a little bit and get some points there.
Peter, what's the craziest thing you have in your bag? Sorry, I got distracted.
No, sorry. I was grabbing this so that I can check. So I'm a professional. So I have our rundown printed, and then I make little notes in red ink, and I'm crossing them off in black so that I kind of know where we're at, so I don't have to keep looking at the digital Google Doc. I'm an analog guy in a digital world. The craziest thing in my bag right now is probably a 2-pack.
Here we go.
For anyone who's an audio listener, we will describe it. But here's
anyone's an audio listener. So for all you writers out there, I have a collection of pens.
Hardwired
I like to carry.
Headphones. I like that.
I got hardwired headphones because I don't want people listening in on my conversations. I don't really care if anyone listens in on this. We have more pens. I like to have triples of each pen because I like them in blue, black, and red so that I can make little notes inside notes. But this is the craziest thing. I have doubles. I have double inhalers right here. I've got an OTC inhaler, and then what's up, buddy?
What?
Got asthma, dude.
Wow.
I have asthma, so I have a.
I do not have
2 inhalers
to participate.
I don't have asthma. This was from 2 years ago when I had pneumonia over Christmas and. For the lungs, but I still keep it by I still keep it by the bed and just in case. I think it's probably expired, but
just in case you need a hit of pneumonia meds.
It actually doesn't have an expiration date on the little bottle.
Oh, that's not good. Well, no, it's not an expiration date. You're supposed to have number of puffs that are still available.
So I still got 60 puffs.
Oh, dude, you're straight. You're good.
I'm ready to rip whenever.
You're good.
I get a cough.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend that because it's an oral steroid and it'll make your hands shake and it'll make you feel not great. But I love my inhalers. I've had allergy-induced asthma since we learned about it when I was 8 years old when I had a severe allergic reaction to a cat. And my mother-in-law, God love her, adopted 3 cats in the last 3 months. So now I have an inhaler. Another inhaler.
That's a lot of cats.
Dude, that's a lot of cats. That's a lot of for me.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot. Okay, I gotta see even where I am in my show right
Zupfer.
down here.
That's cool. He's
Good
feeling good
segment.
for him.
Shout out Riley Zupfer. Like I said, big week for him. One person I wanted to mention, not a Minnesotan, but a guy who's been having a really good games lately, and he's been player of the week a bunch of times. So we've mentioned him, is goalie Carl Axelson. He is a Minnesota Duluth commit though, so not a Minnesotan, but any Bulldog fans out there, I'd get kind of excited about him because if you look at his starts, obviously Muskegon's really good. So that might affect goaltending stats. But he's got 10 wins out of his last 11 starts. That's pretty wild to me. So that might be part of why we've mentioned his name a couple times already from the past.
Killing it.
We had him on Friday. Axelson started for Muskegon on Friday. The Caps were kind of just dominating right away, and then Muskegon came back, and then the game went to overtime. In overtime, the Caps, I think, had 5 shots on goal, like 3 of which were breakaways, stopped them all. No goals allowed in the shootout. Like, he's been tearing it up. Yeah, he was really good. And then my favorite fun fact of him, a puck went into the bench, and the ref like came over and asked for it, and he's like, no, and just threw it up to a fan in the stands. I'm always he's a man of the people. I like that the most.
Nice.
He's a man of the people. I got one last thing about Axelson. His dad apparently played for Minnesota Duluth for 2 seasons in the mid 90s, 93, 94, and 94, 95. I just looked up Carl Axelson because I wanted his elite prospects, but I saw his Instagram, and there is a picture of who I believe is a very young Carl Axelson wearing a Bulldogs hockey hat. So it's a family affair in the port city for the native Swede.
He played in Austin last year in the NAHL too, so there's a tie into Minnesota too. So he went started last year in Sioux Falls and wasn't good enough apparently. So he went and finished the year in Austin, got traded to Muskegon. So it's nice to see players like that make the move and be successful with the move too, because he was tearing it up in Austin after the move there. But the Muskegon team plays like grind hockey, and they're missing like a couple of key pieces right now due to injury, like Tynan Lawrence. I know we've probably said his name 4,000 times on the podcast. He's only played in 2 games this year. Like, he returned
Is he
that
still
1 week.
out?
He returned the 1 week and then hasn't played since the 24th and the 25th. So he played in 2 games, has 2 points on the year, and he's out. They were out another. Muskegon was out a couple more players too. I wonder how much those injuries affect. Obviously, when you're losing your captain, your best player, it's going to put some sort of impact on your team. Clearly, they're still winning games, which helps. Just their style of play when we had them this past weekend, didn't seem like, oh, we're going to wow you every night. It just more seemed like, hey, we're here. We have a couple skilled guys, and usually that's good enough to win it for us. And when you have Axelson in net, it's been good. So Keen's been good too, which that's a weird story. I don't know how many players play high school hockey in Michigan and then succeed in the USHL. Just not the development path for Michigonites typically, right? You're going AAA typically if you're in Michigan with the powerhouse programs there. But he's been doing well. He lost on Saturday night to the Caps, but he's been doing well, and the Muskegon team's been doing well all around him. But yeah, it's just a weird story with Keen. See, when we get on tangents to teams that we've had recently, we're ready to rip. It's when we get to the Zupfers and we want to talk about backpack stuff because we haven't had Des Moines.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Axelson's been tearing it up. I mean, if you look at his goals against the past few games too, he's only allowed 3 or more goals, I think, in 3 of those 11 games. 1 was a loss. Otherwise, it's like 2, 1, 1. Like, it's really good. And he's got a .930 save percentage right now through the season, which is crazy for the USHL. But also, spooky fact, his minutes played so far this year, 666. Spooky. That's what it says. So that's a fun fact at the time of recording. Yeah, Peter's doing little devil
horns
for any audio listeners. But that's pretty wild. Drew, for this next player, I did not know how to say his name. But there was a trade from Green Bay to Tri-City. Franny, is it Natushil? I
I'm
didn't
not
know
gonna
what
lie,
you knew.
no pronunciations on the Green Bay line
Oh,
charts
gotcha.
makes it kind of tough on the broadcasters for the other teams. I've been corrected on names over the past couple weeks. I was pronouncing Owen Bisgin's last name wrong. I was just reading it as it goes because it's not like I had a whole lot to
It's a
go
tough
off of.
one, yeah.
So I said Natushel, but I don't know if that's right, wrong, otherwise.
I was gonna say it's
I
got the
know that,
little accent marks, so
yeah, I know that Green Bay got a haul back for him. It's not like he had a ton of stats going his way this season. And to get a phase 2 second, right? I'm pretty sure is what the return was. To get that back going their way is decent haul for a player that had 3 points in however many games. So the stats might have changed a little bit since the ninth, but not like he's had good spurts, especially in the NAHL. He beat the crap out of that kid in the preseason game. I don't know if you guys saw the video of the preseason fight with Natushel
No.
on the ground, just ground and pound against a Janesville kid. Green Bay played Janesville in a preseason game, and Green Bay won the game and apparently won a couple fights in the process too.
yeah, I mean, he's one of those interesting players where you never really know how guys are gonna adjust going from the NAHL to the USHL. Like some guys do it and they excel like right away, and other guys it just never really clicks. Whether like the role's different, I don't know. But he's a guy that's he's already committed to Western Michigan, and it's been a while. I think he committed like 2 years ago. It's been a little while, but he got traded to Tri-City. He's from Czechia, and he's a guy who did kill it in the NAHL last season. I mean, he led the Wilderness in scoring. He had 52 points in 53 games and 146 penalty minutes, which is like a
Ground and
lot
pound.
compared to some of the other guys on the roster. So definitely a physical guy too, I'd assume. But
He's not like huge though by any means.
no, he's definitely not like a huge guy, but racking up the PIMs there. It says 5'10", 196 on Elite Prospects, but he just
Yeah, I
hasn't
think that's
really
probably about right.
he just hasn't really made that jump into the USHL fully. And I don't know if he just needs a fresh start, new team. We'll see how he does with Tri-City, but
Peter's golf game here all over again.
yeah. He had 2 assists with Green Bay last year when he got called up, and then this year he has 3 goals through 17 games, and that's it. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I think it could be a guy to watch though after the trade.
I think I could have had 2 assists with Green Bay last year. Will Zellers and Aiden Park on the ice at
Oh yeah.
every other shift. Igor Shylov there as well. So I have a feeling that I could have at least recorded a point last year with Green Bay.
Point.
So hopefully Tri-City's the right spot for him, but you always wonder about the driver that Peter's using.
Well, a couple of other
I'm just taking shrapnel here.
Hey, you brought your golf game into this, pal.
I don't remember it that way. You are remembering it wrong, Drew.
Wow. Well, moving on from that, there was a couple of decommits that I wanted to mention. Not a very good segue, but whatever.
That's okay.
A couple notable decommits actually. One being Masun Fleece, who we've talked about, who maybe right away in the USHL didn't like have mind-blowing stats, but he's been really good this year actually, and he no longer has the Penn State logo next to his name. We'll see where he ends up, but he's been doing really good this year. So that's an interesting one to watch. And then along with Minnesota's own Garry twins, Gavin and Luke. Luke is doing pretty good. I think he's second in points on Sioux City, and I think Gavin's hurt right now. So they do not have St. Thomas next to their name, so that's where they were. And I also heard, not a Minnesotan, but Aiden Dyer no longer has the UMass Lowell logo there. So a couple recently of decommits. I would have put Wooten, but then he flipped it so quick that it was already Wisconsin. But I don't know if any of you had any inside info, but I thought that was interesting. And I assume the Garry twins are probably a package deal because they were when they committed to St. Thomas when I talked to them. But could be a couple names to watch, especially Fleece, because he's been doing good this year.
I wonder at this time of year with kids decommitting, I know Wooten signed right away with Wisconsin to go in next year. Typically when you sign that NLI, national letter of intent. I always get that and NIL mixed up. We
Yeah.
couldn't have picked different letters for college athletics. Just saying it's the same 3 letters, just rearranged differently. But I always wonder at this time of year if it's, hey, we want to push you back a year, and you're like, you know what, I think it's my time to go to college. Now, some kids were like, no, I want to stay another year, but I just feel like the roles are the other way around the majority of the time. And with Wooten signing right away for Wisconsin, maybe it was that Maine saying, hey, we don't have a spot for you this year. And Wisconsin's like, hey, pal, you can come and play for the Badgers this next season. Interesting on that part with the Twins, because if they want to go into school next year, trying to find a spot with 2 roster spots versus just the 1 is going to be a little more difficult. But yeah, that would be my one thought with the decommits here at this time of the year, because National Signing Day for the fall, or they change so many different things, because football, they have 2 signing periods. I think hockey, there's 2, but they signed here this past week was the initial signing period or something like that. I know we had a couple of guys sign, a couple of Minnesotans too, but it's just kind of, that would be my one thought with it is, hey, we're going to have you stay in junior another year. And Masun Fleece is like, hey, pal, I'm top 10 in scoring right now. What do you mean I'm staying in the USHL for another season? I'm ready for college hockey. And that's all in the eyes of the coaches, the scouts, the advisors are playing a big role in that probably as well, which advisors are there for a reason, right? They're there to advise. I always wonder on the advice that some of those advisors give. Obviously, I'm going to see different than X, Y, and Z agent, and I'm going to see the exact same way as some others. So, yeah, it should be interesting to see where those players do eventually commit to, because they are good enough to play Division I college hockey. It's just where that spot will be.
Yeah.
I've always – sorry, Sid, go ahead.
No, you're good.
I've always liked Masun Fleece. I think he plays hard. Granted, I haven't seen him play a full game for a couple of years, but I've always thought he played hard. He had some really good numbers coming out of Shattuck. He was one of those high scorers. The Garry twins is interesting because I think it would be easy if there was a noticeable talent discrepancy between the two, then you could make the assumption that, well, St. Thomas said they wanted one, but weren't willing to take the other. But that's not the case. They finished their high school careers 2 points apart for the Minnetonka Skippers. And Luke's got 16 points this year, but Gavin, I think, like you said, is injured. So there's not this talent imbalance. And for whoever picks up the package deal, it's 2 slots that you filled with 1 recruiting pitch.
Yeah, for sure. And it's kind of interesting too. I when I saw somebody on Twitter tweet that they didn't have the St. Thomas, logo next to their name, I was a little confused because Luke still has the St. Thomas post on his Instagram, but he also hasn't posted in like over 2 years on Instagram. So maybe he just does not care about Instagram anymore. But good. I would assume then it's, obviously when you're making a line chart, if you delete it from the roster, it's probably pretty purposeful, especially for both of them. I don't have any insight on where any of them are committing, but doing some, as I like to say, Sydney Instagram investigating on follows. If you look up Aiden Dyer, he's playing with the Chicago Steel this year. He's got 5 assists right now. He's a forward from Michigan. If I just look up who he's following, again, this might mean nothing, but he's following Notre Dame, Western Michigan, UMass, Michigan. I think that's it. So sometimes
I thought you were about to list about 15 more schools, and I was going to be like, why are we doing that? That makes way more sense with just the smaller list.
Sometimes it doesn't mean anything, but over the summer, those have led to some good hints. So we'll see if it's any of those. I don't know. We will see. But those are a couple notable decommits. One bit of news I thought I'd mention, because this person's kind of a Minnesotan. I know his hometown was listed as Sartell, but he played hockey for Chicago Mission mainly. So I don't know if he lived here briefly. But Sioux City netminder Bjorn Bronis now headed to Sudbury of the OHL. Guy going back and forth. I know for a while his hometown was listed as Sartell, but recently it's been Illinois. So I don't think he must have lived here for long. I don't think he played in Minnesota really ever, but he had an .847 save percentage through 12 games, and it looks like now he's headed to the O. I don't know if this is something, Drew, I don't know if you have any insight on this either, if we're just going to get more of that now that guys have eligibility now in the CHL. of, players going from the USHL over there. Because it used to be like we'd get a couple major junior guys into the USHL every once in a while, but pretty rare. And now I feel like there's more, not a lot, but there's a couple trickling over from the USHL, maybe if they want to change things up or just a fresh start or something.
Yeah, I think with that, it's just going to be a give and take. I think with Sioux City, they're not like top of the league by any means at this point of the year. Bronis, I don't know why, but I mean, you could probably look at standings and be like, whether it's his fault, somebody else's, he sees a route to go to the O. The OHL means that he's not listed as Minnesotan overall. Like that must not be his like district, because the way the Canada split is, like Minnesota would be a WHL. So that signals to me that the Illinois probably is more correct for him. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it's going to be a little bit more than we've seen in the past. I think last year was obviously the wow factor of, oh, this is happening a lot. I think it probably won't be as much as that right away. And just in general, just because usually once you're in the season, you're not going to want to go up there. And the other thing that you have to think of is it is kind of a trade still, as weird as that sounds. It's not like the player can just leave the USHL mid-season and go to the OHL without some sort of compensation being sent back the other way too, which is something that I don't think a lot of people realize. It's not like last year Blake Montgomery just leaves Lincoln and all of a sudden he can just start skating for the OHL team, because it's the same way back the other way. When a player from Hockey Canada comes down, you have to make that transfer, and the team making the transfer from USA Hockey to Hockey Canada would be the USHL team to the OHL team, and the same way back the other way. So it is still a tough process to do mid-season. So I don't know if that would happen as much in season as much as it will in the off season, which is what we saw this off season, right? The trickle between the two we just talked about. Feldberg's the goalie there doing the opposite, coming down to the USHL. So I think that's more of an off season thing, but you will see a couple here and there throughout the year. That's a long way of saying I don't know.
Nice. Yeah, and I did Google it. His hometown was listed as Sartell at some point, but it doesn't look like he really, on Elite Prospect, there's no Minnesota teams he's played for, so I assume he must have grew up in Illinois. He played for the Mission and then has played for Sioux City since, so we'll see. He's going to be with the Sudbury Wolves now. And it says, too, he was originally drafted in 2023 to Sudbury, but he does have, it says on here, dual citizenship, Sweden, USA. So maybe his name is more pronounced like Björn. I don't know. I don't know the Swedish pronunciation, but he's got the dots, the umlauts above the O's in his name. So I'm probably not saying that right.
I would say that Sioux City brings Bronis back with another goaltender last season, and that was a big reason why the Capitals eventually got AJ White last year, just because there was a goalie logjam in Sioux City. And then the Caps, because Caleb Heil returns this year, send AJ White to Fargo, and AJ White's been one of the best goalies in the USHL playing against Sioux City. So that must be a real kick in the nuggets for Sioux City fans to see one of their old players succeeding against them. And part of the reason why that player left is now leaving too. So not the greatest day to be a Musketeer fan, but change might just be good for the Musketeers at this point too, because I know at some point we're going to look at the standings, and it's not like I said, it's not like they're tearing it up by any means.
Yeah, we'll see how that change helps him too, because he has an 8.47 so far for Sioux City this year. Last year, he had an 8.94, which I feel like is pretty typical in the USHL for a lot of goalies, so that's pretty normal. But we'll see if he just needs a change and wants to try out the O and play in Sudbury, which I've heard is a super fun place to play, so that'll be cool. I don't know if you've seen like the Wolf. We'll have to get that for a future segment. Maybe I'll get that for an end of show segment in the future. I know we don't do too many for Major Junior, but we were talking about World Junior A Challenge last week, and the roster. Jackson Crowder has been added to the roster. Was there any injuries, or was somebody subbed out, or did they add somebody? I don't know if you have any insight on this, Drew, or it was just an ad, or
They usually will add one more at some point closer to, because I think when they announced they only had 21 or 22,
okay.
and that would make it where, hey, if anybody gets hurt, you're kind of SOL when you get up there. I know last year mid tournament they added Finn Brink, Maple Grove guy, now playing with Wisconsin. They added him 2 games into the tournament because someone got hurt, and I wonder if that kind of makes USA Hockey go, hey, we want to add a couple more guys here. I also wonder if they were saving a spot for a certain quarterback of Edina High School, and if the high school season kind of pushed that off a bit. Like,
Sure,
because
yeah.
he's not playing hockey at this point, but Gunnar Conboy didn't play a ton of hockey prior to being named to that roster too. So I wonder if it's like hey, we have a first round pick in our league. We want him to go and play in this tournament. And now that he's been on the football field and still hasn't been on skates yet, that they were like, hey, we're going to go with a different draft pick, which clearly I think you're okay with adding another draft pick to the roster. It's just a different one than you were maybe expecting. Again, I don't know for sure on that, but that kind of seems like the timing would add up, right? Like if they were planning on adding somebody this week, if a certain player didn't make the state championship game with the Edina Hornets, I wonder if that spot becomes his.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely interesting to think about too. Yeah, if the season had ended like a week or 2 or 3 ago, then obviously he would have, likely been out in Fargo. We don't have confirmation on that yet. Everybody's still speculating if he's coming back or not. We probably won't even know until the roster is posted, to be honest, because there's so much back and forth. But that was an interesting one. Crowder, for anyone who doesn't know, he's actually from Texas, but he's a bigger forward, 6'3". He's a Caps pick, and he's got 14 points in 14 games for Chicago. So decent add to the World Junior A Challenge. But a couple commitments, no Minnesota guys. Well, there were Minnesota commitments, but not guys that are playing full-time in the USHL over the last week. And Jack Wilson of Youngstown committed to Alaska Fairbanks. He was a Michigan commit at one point. And William Samuelson of Green Bay committed to Lake State, and he's actually a 4th-round pick of the Dallas Stars from last year. I don't know if either of you have any inside info, or Drew, if you've watched either of these guys at all, but those were kind of the recent ones that I've seen for USHL.
I mean, I've seen both of them play. I haven't seen Wilson since last fall, so fall of 24. So it's been about a calendar year since I've seen him. We don't have Youngstown coming to town until January. So if this was January 4th, I'd have tons of Jack Wilson. Samuelson, I had a couple weeks ago, we had here with the Gamblers. And I think his game's progressed a little bit. The 4th-round pick, you never really know what you're getting with the Euro coming over. Similar to the NAHL kids coming up to the USHL, you never really know what you're getting in a Euro coming over to the league. And I think he's been good for that Green Bay team. He's been on the power play last season. He was one of the better power play guys on power play 2. I think he's up on that top power play with Wooten. I believe Elliot Gully in that mix as well. So he's obviously towards the top of the Gamblers in points. But congrats to both of them. I don't think it's a bad thing ever for an NHL pick from Sweden to come over and get a commitment, right? Sometimes those kids come over and then they sign right away. They get buried in the pro leagues, pro ranks, whatever you want to call it. All of a sudden they're playing in the ECHL, and it's just not the situation they want. Where going to Lake State, I think this kid will go and clean up at Lake State and be a superstar there, which is good for an NHL guy to get that experience so they know what they need to expect at that next level if they want to succeed.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, that is, again, really good segue. I have so many good segues on this show today. Wow.
You want me to add a segue? I got a segue for you.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, here's my segue. People forget that in the mid-90s, Lake Superior State was the shit.
They were. That's true.
It wasn't really a segue. I just want the young bucks to know that in the mid-90s, Lake Superior State was it.
Place
Yes.
to be.
Back-to-back natties.
Would love to see them, get rolling here. That'd be super cool. Always rooting for some of those programs. We did have a couple just like other league notes here as well. A couple shout outs. We always like to do that. Patch Cronin, first NAHL goal. Love to see it. Former STA guy. A player on the move, Kai Weigel, traded from the Bismarck Bobcats. I believe it was to Anchorage. I'll have to double check that, but he's on the move and he is playing, Anchorage Wolverines. That's going to be a
Not
big
Moorhead,
team.
huh?
No, not Moorhead. Former Moorhead goalie. Yeah, he's going Bismarck to Anchorage. Already played 2 games, and he has a .937 save percentage in those 2 games for Anchorage. So nice to see that. Just needed to switch it up. A couple other notes here. Drew, was Philadelphia the team that you said you knew some people on it? Well, they're kind of killing it, honestly, with acquiring players. I got to be honest. The Philadelphia Rebels of the NAHL keep picking up these like D1 committed players or like USHL guys. They pick up Dylan Moran, who's actually a Western Michigan commit. He was in Anchorage. Now he's in Philly, so he was in the NAHL already this year, but he played a full year of USHL last year for Des Moines. And they also reacquired Luke Janviria, if that's how you say it. Janviria. I don't even know. Thanks for saving me on that one, Drew, from Lincoln. So Philadelphia is kind of just picking up all these guys that are like D1 committed or guys that just aren't quite making the USHL roster. So they're kind of loading up on these good players here. I'm impressed.
I would love to see those players turn it around in Philadelphia. I think they're in 8th place right now. So,
maybe not.
We can be great at acquiring players. You can win the off season in the NHL, the Nashville Predators last year. I'm looking at you.
Wow.
And then turn nothing into that. Obviously, it's about development more than about wins and losses. Robertson Cup championships mean more to the organization than the kids themselves. Same with Clark Cups, whatever. It does show you're a winner. So I like to see them turn it around because I know there's a bunch of Minnesotans out there, a couple former Caps out there that we've either had at camp or just playing on the team. And Alex Lunsky, I know, is out there. So hope the best for Philadelphia. Shout out Justin Friedman. And that's my take on Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's I'm surprised they're not doing better just because of some of those acquisitions. Because in their top 5 in scoring, they've got Lunsky, Conlon, and Jordan Brothers. So a couple Minnesotans there, and then the 5th guy in scoring is from Kazakhstan. So they've got kind of a funny group of guys out there, but interesting. Yeah, they've just made some interesting player acquisitions. So I'll have to keep track of that here throughout the season. Speaking of Moorhead, when we just mentioned Kai Weigel, Aaron Ryerson commits to Alaska Anchorage, tweeted that out on YHH and got a lot of likes. Obviously, people super excited for him. He played in the BC, then in the USHL last year. Now he's back in the BC, but he's leading Langley in scoring. So he's kind of killing it right now. And good to see him get that D1 commit. Going to be playing for the Seawolves. And yeah, that's cool to see because I knew he was a guy who could play D1. You just didn't know, when or where that offer was going to come from.
He played in the Bantam Elite League, and Moorhead had like 6 kids in the league. Like Joe Schiller, I think, was there. One of the Grammars was there, Aaron Ryerson. And I was convinced that Aaron Ryerson was going to be the best out of all of the Moorhead kids that played in the Bantam Elite League. Shows why I am not a scout in the National Hockey League, but I always liked Aaron. I always thought he was one of the hardest working kids on the ice every time. Ends up with 35 goals in his last season with Moorhead. His season with Fargo, I was a little bummed out. 7 points, 34 games, not great. Thought he might that would have been a nice addition for Concordia College in Moorhead if he would have gone the D3 route, but super, super cool to see him go D1.
Cobbers.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I have a couple news and notes on Major Junior. Again, this isn't a Minnesotan, but I thought this was an interesting tidbit since we have probably plenty of Gopher fans that listen to the pod. One of the Gopher commits, Hayden Reed. A lot of people were kind of speculating before this season, even like, Is he actually going to come in? You know, they don't have a ton of non-Minnesotans if they're not high-level guys, and he hasn't had, you know, super eye-popping numbers. He was in the USHL, then went to the OHL, and now it looks like he's recommitted to Clarkson, so not going to be playing for the Gophers. So a lot of those fans were correct. And then in the dub, actually going to talk a little bit about our other sponsor, APX. One of the APX advisees, part of the organization, Cal Conway, got his first WHL win. So shout out. I'm sure people remember him if you watch Minnesota high school hockey. And again, thanks to APX for being our other sponsor of the show, along with the USHL. If you are interested in any training development or have any advising needs, make sure to go to apx-hockey.com or click on the news tab. You can read a bunch of my recent stories, including on former USHL guy, now Carter Ernst, just had one today, or I just also talked to current Waterloo Blackhawk Rio Traharn, and that'll be out probably next week. So super cool.
Rio's a name and a half.
I know. He's got a super cool story, too, if you guys want to preview. He actually grew up like 5 or 6 years in Australia. So, fun story there. Yeah,
Was Rio the movie where the bird was involved from Moose Lake?
The bird, was it a Disney movie or animated movie? Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that was originally based in Moose Lake, Minnesota.
Really? I don't remember.
District, well, actually, I don't know if they're District 10, but
Moose Lake Rebels.
They were Moose Lake Willow River. Got to give a shout out to Carter Klund on that one. Wayne and duct tape up there as well as hairline. So good to shout them out when I get a chance. But yeah, Moose Lake Willow River Rebels, home of the smallest locker rooms in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, speaking of Moose Lake too, I remember kind of a random tangent. As well, since we love to do that on this show. I remember interviewing Mallory Hartle, who's playing D1 now at Providence. Yeah, she's it's cool to see players from Moose Lake, going to play D1. And I remember asking her, you know, I looked up her lead prospects. I'm like, this says you're from Ascove, Minnesota. And she's like, or I said Ascov, and she's like, Ascove. And I was like, oh, okay, I totally just butchered the pronunciation.
Yeah, right. Sid, you idiot. How did you not know that it was Ascove? I did not know
the name of that city that has like barely, it's very, very small. I'm sure most people probably have not really heard of it. It's very small. It literally says the population is 364. So
we should have a segment on this show where we just name all the Pine County cities, because I would tear that up.
Yeah, or it says actually most recently in 2024, the population was 331. So I now know. I'm now aware. I'm sorry to all my Moose Lake, you know, girls hockey fans if I mispronounce that.
Northern Pine County, I got a speeding ticket once coming back down from Duluth. And yeah, that's my last take on Northern Pine County.
Okay, I got one more take on Northern Pine County.
Okay, let's hear it.
Ascove Finlayson is also the name of a luxury brand, I believe, started by one of the branches of the Dayton Empire. They are currently selling something called Snow Wallpaper, starting at $225. So
can we say that second city again for you? Yeah, I think we want to hear you say the second city again on that. We might have an Ascov situation. Finlayson actually combines with Hinckley in school-wise. In Hinckley, home of Grand Casino Arena, home of the XL Energy Center. Rest in peace. Now there's a
and Toby's.
Yep. Toby's.
And the Great Hinckley Fire.
Yes, the Great Hinckley Fire that did exist.
That museum is sweet.
Yeah,
it's a terrible situation. You don't want people to burn down, but you know the museum's cool.
Well,
yeah, Daggett's great grocery store in Hinckley, Minnesota. See, now we're talking.
Northern Pine County.
Hinckley's we're getting towards the south of Pine County, just so we know.
Shout out Southern Pine County. Shout out.
Just so you know.
Shout out Ascove. You know, love it. Yeah, I believe Mallory Harder, when I talked to her, she told me, Drew, I don't know if you have any insight. She went to East Central. I don't know if that's a school in that area.
East Central is the name of the school in Sandstone, Minnesota. So we are really getting into it.
Such a geography lesson here today.
Yeah.
Love it.
We had like a trivia show at Youth Hockey Hub, I think my specialty category would be Pine County cities.
Love it. Well,
Okay, niche.
Speaking of northern Minnesota, though, a little bit further north, Duluth native Kanan Smith. I always just thought his name was probably pronounced Keenan, but recently everybody says it's Kanan. So
Cannon.
Kanan Smith. I just saw recently, like today, this morning, he did sign with Penticton of the Dub, but I believe it's for starting next year. So I don't know if that means he's going to finish out this year. I believe he's in Janesville. I think it's Janesville. Yeah, but it sounds like he'll be playing for Penticton likely next year, but he's really good. We all know that. He's a Duluth commit. And Duluth is totally fine with their goalies playing in the NAHL because they've gotten so many good goalies that have played in the NAHL, so I don't think they have any issue with that. Because if you're a goalie, you just got to see shots, and I'm sure you've faced plenty in any of those junior leagues. So that's cool, but it sounds like that's going to be his plan for the future.
Is AJ Reltz committed to UMD or is he Lindenwood? I know he was
He's
Lindenwood at one point.
I think he's UMD. I think he flipped this summer because
he's in Penticton right now, so he must that might be the new path for UMD goaltenders then. Because
maybe they have a connection up there or something.
That would make me think that he's going in if they're signing a goalie that is on NHL Central Scouting.
Yeah, he's in Penticton. Yeah.
So.
Well, that'd be wild if you had if he stays another year. I don't know what his age eligibility is. If they had 2 UMD goalies on the Penticton roster in the future, that'd be pretty wild. Just alternate them. That'd be crazy. But otherwise, we're getting towards the end of the show here. I don't know if you guys had any memes or funny comments for the week. I know we had a couple interesting videos. I've had a funny one I found from the BC, but Drew, what do you got for us today?
Yeah, let's start with that video in the BC. I kind of just kept the picture the same. Chucky the Saint, mascot for the Spruce Grove Saints, staring down opponents in the box. That must have been right at the beginning of a period, I would assume, right?
I don't know.
You think Chucky's ripping out there while Luke Stork's putting his hand up saying minor penalty on 22 for what team do we have there? I can't read.
I think it's Vernon. I think it's the Vernon Vipers. Shout out.
Minor penalty on 22 for the Vernon Vipers. 2 minutes tripping, and Chucky's just standing there. Also, creepy name, Chucky. You got to go back to the movie. Just makes me Chucky's not a saint name. I hate to tell you. There are so many actual saints that they could have named the actual mascot after. Going Chucky's tough, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's why I actually just looked up the roster too to see who 22 was because I was just intrigued. And it's a German player, Leon Bussmann. Love to see it,
Plus, he's just trying to serve his 2 minutes in the box. And Chucky,
yeah, there's a video. If you're listening to this, you can watch it on Twitter, and it's literally just this mascot staring at him, and it looks like he's just kind of laughing because I bet he's like, "What am I supposed? What do you want me to do?
What am I doing here?"
So
they always have like the GoPro cameras in the box. Those are always like
he's only played 2 games for Vernon, so he comes over from Germany and he gets this, and he only has 2 penalties.
Welcome to North America, pal.
So this must have been his first penalty in the BC. He gets stared down by this mascot. That's rough, you guys.
Welcome to North America, pal. Jeez.
Yeah. Looks like he just came over, and that's his first penalty. Might have even been his first game. I don't know. He's only got 2 played, so that's wild.
Man, that poor guy.
If it's from this year, I assume the clip is from this year. So, yeah.
I mean, it'd be wild if this is resurfaced clip.
Yeah, I'd assume it's from
outside the box. What sicko's got this in his folder where he's breaking this out in 2 years is the real question. I think, you know what? I'm just praying that in Chucky's honor, the Saint, that that it's a current video, because if somebody's just got this hiding in the hollows and ready to rip that out when Leon's trying to sit in the sin bin for 2 or less, tough. That's all I would say on that. We got a couple other fun ones too. I want to go first to this one's not a video. This is to a Facebook comment. Stephen Bailey, not a fan of how Waterloo's playing recently. Waterloo playing dirty. Shocker, kneeing both nights. Interaction through the roof. Steven, we might need you on socials for us, to be honest with you. We could use a little more interaction, get the boost, get a couple more sponsors on board. Why not? Waterloo does not play dirty, according to Carter in the comments. Jessica Thomas really came in and clarified things for everyone, though. Waterloo is not a dirty playing team. It's the teams they play with phenomenal acting under their belts. How are you so hurt? You're going to lay on the ground like you're dead. Then once the game stops, whistle blown, you can get up, instantly acting fine, ... Wow. Jessica's got a great point there. Stop flopping, Blackhawks.
Wow, that's wild. I love
There's
it. There's
a lot going
and
on
then
here.
It just keeps going. Yeah, that's the best.
It just keeps going. It just keeps the passion that some of these fan bases have, not only for their team, but for arguing on the internet with complete strangers is, I'll say it, I'm not afraid to say it, it's incredible. It's fantastic. They should keep doing it.
They should have, like, I know this is something that we might need to get down the line. If we have any developing companies that are out there listening, we should develop Tinder for the USHL fan group and see if any of these fans can, like, mend fences, go on dates to USHL games, get the teams involved too. Tonight's USHL trash talk Tinder date of the night. Jessica and Steven are having a time down in section 102.
Fireworks. The fireworks between those two.
Like, clearly they're passionate about their squad. Maybe their teams meet in the middle. I don't know who Waterloo's playing that night, but clearly they're both on the same page here that at Young Arena magic happens, and one side or the other. When I was there, they had good mini donuts, so like set them up, bucket of mini donuts, sections in tickets in section 105. We'll be ready to go for Steven and Jessica. You know what? If Steven and Jessica choose to go on a date, obviously I don't know either of their lives, I would be willing to pay for their tickets to a USHL game and a bucket of mini donuts on the house.
Wow.
3 happily married. I mean, maybe not happily. I don't know what your marriages are like, but I'm happily married.
Yeah.
3 happily married people trying their
so,
best
yeah.
to set up some USHL psychos. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
We're all about love here. Choose love, not hate.
Choose love.
And someone choosing love here. We'll go to our last video.
I saw that on the Vietnam.
Odessa Jackalopes are getting after it.
What?
Okay, but like, do we know who this is? Also, Drew.
I don't, to be honest with you. Let's try to zoom in on the number.
Or is it in the comments too? I mean, I don't know. Should I look it up?
I don't know.
Oh, here we go.
To be honest with you, I don't know.
I should see if there's.
All I know is that.
But I don't know. Let me look through the comments.
I don't have TikTok. What are these dances, man?
This is actually an Instagram reel.
Oh, so it's not a TikTok.
No, this is Meta, dude.
What?
Oh, wow. There's a lot of really bad comments, so definitely don't show them on the stream.
I'm just here showing
you.
Not appropriate comments.
Should we just scrap this entire thing?
Well, a lot of people are
about
tagging,
the dance.
A lot of people are tagging this one guy. So it looks like
we don't need to bring up names. I was just more wondering how his dance moves are and if he could teach us a thing or two. Maybe that's a segment on next week's show or 2 weeks from now. We get the fella on and all of a sudden, I'm telling you, we're trying to get more engagement, more sponsors, more everything. Us becoming TikTok superstars wouldn't hurt that.
Wow.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I think I got to get a TikTok before I become a TikTok superstar. I also need to get an Instagram before I become
Instagram,
I have no Instagram. I have no TikTok. I'm on the fence of deleting Facebook.
Works at a media empire and thinking about deleting.
Let's say I have Instagram. I do not. I post some stories on mine, but I do not make regular posts. I don't think I have. I post on Facebook, I think, twice
once every 2 years, and it's usually like a happy birthday or a happy anniversary to my wife, and I write this like massive
Solid.
love letter. That's about it, though. No Instagram, no TikTok.
Next year, you can just show her the dance. You don't have to worry about posting on Facebook. Just go.
I hope
See?
that gets clipped. Joey Memes needs to clip that.
Gotta. Shout out
Like-
Joey Memes sliding into my messages this week.
What did he want?
He just wanted to tell me about feeding Bruce. Joey Memes, I apologize. I don't have your number. All I got was a text message with the picture of Bruce on the screen, and it said feed Bruce. And I was like, I'm not responding to this because I don't know who this is, but I apologize. I'll send a text right after recording
it's your
today.
super fan, Drew.
Oh my god! So you just got a picture of Bruce that said feed Bruce from a random number, and you thought, what is going on?
Yeah, it's just like a picture of the podcast, and
I was gonna say that's my B. I should have warned you.
but shout out
Damn.
Joey Memes.
Shout out Joey Memes.
I appreciate the fans. Anytime someone wants to reach out, feel free just next time to say, hey, this is me. Big fan of the pod. Go Caps go. Even at the bottom might not hurt.
Let's go. Yeah.
Oh my god! Maybe buy a season ticket package from me. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, we got a great flex deal on sale right now. I'd love to have you on board.
Shout out.
I think that's a good place to put.
Yeah, you guys. I think
there.
that's plenty. I think this is a long show. I'm surprised we even went this long, honestly, but it goes by pretty
For
quick.
real.
But I think that's all we needed to do for the night. We don't want the vibes to get too crazy here. So we're going to wrap it up. But again, thanks for tuning into the Junior Hockey Pod. I hope we are entertaining for all of you listeners out there. And once again, thanks so much for tuning in. And thanks to our sponsors, the USHL and APX. And for myself, Sydney Wolf, for Peter Ani, and for Drew Steele, thanks so much for listening. And we'll see you maybe next week, maybe the week after. We'll see.